Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Startup Sense podcast. This is your host, Jonah Lupton, coming to you with another great episode. So, today is extra special, and for a few reasons. One, I'm interviewing a really, really cool guy. Two, this guy was on Shark Tank a few seasons ago, and since then has built an incredible company. So, the company I'm talking about is Scrub Daddy, and the founder is Aaron Krause. You might remember him. He essentially did an infomercial pitch on Shark Tank with his product, the Scrub Daddy. Damon said something to the effect of, "This is the first time I've ever seen an infomercial in person." Lori ended up doing the deal with Aaron for $200,000 for 20% of the company. Aaron has 18 years of experience in manufacturing, which I think is kind of like what helps, close the deal. Obviously, a very credible person. But what he's done since Shark Tank is just nothing short of remarkable. He's a very recurrent guest on QVC. And like I said earlier, he has built the company to over $100 million in sales, well past $100 million, as Aaron told me. So let's welcome Aaron to the show, learn more about how he's building such an incredible business. Aaron, how are you, man?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on. And I'm now affectionately known as the daddy of the Scrub Daddy.
That is a great nickname for you. So talk to us about, there's so many things I want to ask you about. When you started this business and you went on Shark Tank, you were just a one-person company, right?
Well, pretty much Scrub Daddy was an offshoot of a business that I had started many years before. It was an accessory to this other business. In 2008, I actually sold one of my companies to a world giant called 3M. And in the acquisition, there was a bunch of accessories that I had invented, patented, that they didn't have an interest in. And I had kept those products just hanging around the factory and thought one day I'll get back to them. Scrub Daddy was one of those items. And in 2011, I rediscovered the Scrub Daddy materials use as a dishwashing tool. And that's pretty much when, I had my epiphany, my aha moment, that, oh my God, this product that we thought was supposed to be for scrubbing dirty hands in a body shop was actually the world's greatest kitchen scrubbing tool. And we needed to shift gears, pivot, and start marketing it that way. And so we really formed the company Scrub Daddy Incorporated in 2011 and began selling kitchen sponges.
What kind of growth had you guys experienced prior to Shark Tank? How was the business doing?
Well, it was quite stressful and quite frustrating. We thought we had a great product. I had dumped probably $175,000 into packaging, advertising, logos, patenting, stuff like that. And I thought, we'll start trying to get into retail stores. I didn't know what retail stores were even available for me to go to. So we ended up trying to get into Bed Bath & Beyond and a bunch of other like retail stores, like supermarket chains, and I couldn't even get a phone call back.
Wow. And now fast forward, and we'll go back to that, but now fast forward, 6 years later, and you guys are in how many stores?
At this point, shortly after Shark Tank, Bed Bath & Beyond called us, Walmart called us, Home Depot called us, and we are now in pretty much every major big box retailer in the United States, and actually several more overseas, including many in Germany. And wow. We're selling in Korea, we're selling in Dubai, we're selling in England, selling in France, selling in Sweden, selling in Finland. And if you name a major store in the United States, Walmart, Kroger, Home Depot, Walgreens, CVS, Lowe's, Bed Bath & Beyond, ShopRite, H-E-B, Giant, Acme, there's pretty much your combined Scrub Daddy.
That's well over 10,000 stores, right?
Oh, it's easily over. Walmart alone is 4,000, and Kroger alone is about 4,000. But besides that, we're on QVC at least once a week, and that hits the entire country. I've had shows where in 24 hours we've sold 2 million sponges.
Oh my God!
So it's pretty remarkable.
Wow. I don't know QVC well enough to know what the average product is doing in terms of sales, but I'm assuming that you guys are crushing it.
Well, QVC is an amazing place to demonstrate a product, but you have to also realize that it's a short-lived success. What that means is when you go on QVC and you have a product, you'll do, and it does well, it will do really well, but only for a short period of time because you'll saturate the market. So there's only, even if there's millions of people, you keep going on over and over again, enough people have seen the product, they bought the product. And as far as Scrub Daddy goes, you can't sell one because it doesn't make sense in the shipping. So people are buying 8 to 10 at a time, and it means that they're stocked for a long time, even over a year. And so that what happens is you go on QVC, and within 6 to 8 months, that could be the end of your tenure on QVC. And once you start having bad shows, you could have 1 or 2 bad shows. That's it. You're done. They'll never have you back on. And the only way to combat that is to continually come out with new products and new configurations that kind of refresh the brand and make it exciting. And the only way that we've been able to stay fresh and on QVC is, first we had the original in a 6-pack, and we came out with a better deal in an 8-pack. Then we came out with lemon scented. Then we came out with colors. Then we came out with a product called Big Daddy. Then we came out with Scrub Mommy. And now we have Eraser Daddy. In fact, I'll be on this Sunday at about noon with our new product, Eraser Daddy. And so that's the only way we've been able to keep it fresh and live on QVC. But QVC,
eventually, if you don't keep coming out with new stuff, you're not going to be on there all the time.
Now, with regards to new products in retail, I mean, how do you decide which of these new products you can get into retail? I mean, how much shelf space are you able to get? Do you guys have to pay slotting fees and whatnot?
Well, absolutely. I mean, depending on the store, it's all a negotiation. But almost all supermarket chains, you pay slotting fees for. But then some of the other stores, which we have really strong personal relationships with, such as Bed Bath & Beyond, it's more of a negotiation on giving them, the margin that they need, and us, getting the location that we want. Bed Bath & Beyond has been very good to us, and pretty much every new product we come out with, they put on the shelves.
So when you went on Shark Tank, I remember you saying that you had already done some QVC episodes. Did that help you be such a flawless pitcher in the tank?
So I tell everybody that the reason I did so well on Shark Tank is strictly because of my experience on QVC. In fact, it was my experience on QVC that actually gave me the idea to go on Shark Tank. So I had done, my first show. I was like a deer in the headlights. I was, totally scared, and there's cameras in your face. The thing about QVC is that it's live. It's 100% live. It's not taped. It's not edited. Everything is happening in real time, and you have about 6 to 8 minutes to do a pitch, and you never know what's going to happen. And so you just hope that every demo is going to work, and that you don't drop the sponge, and that you don't break something, and that someone hasn't burned something on so badly that it's never going to come off. And so it's one of the most nerve-wracking experiences. But what's really scary is that your money is on the line. So almost always on QVC, it's on consignment, and you own the inventory.
Gotcha.
And it's quite a lot of inventory. And when you fail, they have the right to ship it back. So you're doing this show, and you're doing it live, and the whole time you're thinking, oh my God, like if this doesn't work, like I could be in a lot of trouble. And so that's probably the most nerve-wracking experience you can have. And the first time I did it, I thought I would, be the last time they've ever had me on. In fact, I did not do well. And the guy that got me on, I had a broker. He actually said to me that, I failed and that I would never be back on. And I left the building. Actually left the building in tears.
Oh, man.
And, unbelievably, he called me about an hour later and said, I can't believe this, but I just got a call from the buyer and the producer. And yeah, you didn't do well, but they both loved your energy, and they loved the show, and they wish you had some more time to talk. And that, it looked like you were a little bit nervous. They're going to give you one more shot. So I got up there for my second shot, and this time I was just determined to really get across all my demos. The first time I only got through 40% of them, and this time, instead of just listening to the host talk, I would just demo while they were talking. I wouldn't just stand. And that way, I got through all the demos. We sold out of my second show before the show was even over, and they actually ordered double the quantity and gave me another show at a better time. So I think my first show was like at 6 in the morning. My second show was like at 7, which are not great times. But my third show was like at 9, and we sold out of the entire quantity. And my fourth show was like at 10 something, and I sold, even double that quantity. But at that point, I actually felt really comfortable in front of the camera, and I actually felt like I was born to do this, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I really got a kick out of it. It was like a high that I can't even describe. Doing a live show, selling your product that you know is great and that you believe in, and then seeing in real time the public's reaction, because these sales are happening while you're talking and the producer is telling you in your ear. So I have an earpiece in and he's like, oh my God, great job. Huge spike in sales. Calls are flying in, and I can hear it. And that just like builds my excitement. And then I just get more like energetic and I just start jumping around the set. And, then you sell out and you're like, oh my God, So I went home and I was bragging to my wife, while she was getting dinner prepared, that I, forget being an inventor or a business person. I was born to be on TV, and she's telling me to shut up and that I've got a big head. And we sat down and we turned on our favorite show to watch. And it's this great show about entrepreneurs and business and invention and investment, and it's called Shark Tank. And I watched a couple guys walk in that actually have no business. I'm not going to tell you who it was. They didn't get a deal. But, I watched these guys walk in that really had no business being on TV, misrepresented themselves, their company, didn't know their numbers. And you know the story. Mr. O'Leary says, take your product out back and shoot it in the head and get out of here. You're dead. And I turned to my wife and I said, what a bunch of morons. I could go on that show and kill the sharks. And then I thought, you know what? How do you go on Shark Tank? And I pulled my phone out and I started doing a Google search. I found a website and I sent them an email.
I mean, and there's probably hundreds of thousands of other people that are also trying to get on Shark Tank. So how did you guys, how quick did it take them to get back to you and tell you that you were one of the candidates to be on the show?
Well, I'll never forget the day. It was about 2 months later. I had just forgotten about it. Like, I never thought I could get on. It was just a whim. Send them an email, see what happens. A lot of people were going to casting calls. I wasn't going to do that. I was very busy with my life and running the company and going on QVC.
Yeah, unlike many of them, you actually had a real company with real revenue.
Yeah, and we were growing, and I was running the business. I wasn't thinking about going on a reality show, and it just didn't. It wasn't like I needed this and I had to get on this. This is all I was going to do with my life. So I just kind of forgot about it. And I coach ice hockey in the Philadelphia area. I actually coach the Flyers youth team, and I play ice hockey. So I was coaching the team, and we were doing a practice, and my phone started ringing in my pocket. And I just pulled it out to see who it was. It was a number I didn't recognize from Los Angeles, California. So I picked it up and just said hello, and the person on the line said, is this Aaron? I said, yeah. They said, my name is so-and-so. I'm a producer from Shark Tank. Do you have a minute to talk? And I froze. I said to the kids, skate in circles. and I skated off the ice, and I took a call. And then within 10 minutes, the person said, I think you need to talk to my producer. And that person said, I think you need to talk to my producer. And after 3 or 4 times of going through, levels and levels, I finally got to somebody who said, we really like your energy. We like your pitch. We like your product. Would you take a short video and just show us what you would, how you would present on Shark Tank? So I did that. And that led to, 2 months of them calling me like once a week and saying, so Aaron, don't get excited. There's 40,000 people still, in line. But today we're going to try and shorten your pitch from like 5 minutes to 4 minutes. So let's do that. Like, what can we cut out? And then we would do that, and I'd pitch it again. They say, okay, well, that sounds good. For next week, try to take it down another minute, and we'll have a call next week. And every week they would call and say, don't get excited. There's still 30,000. There's still 20,000. There's still 10,000. There's still 5,000. And one day they called and said, Aaron, unfortunately, this will be our last call. And I was like, oh my God, that was like literally like almost 2 months of like wasting my time. And they were like, well, it's because we're sending you a flight to Los Angeles. We want you to come out and we want you to pitch an audition in front of 30 executives from Sony and ABC. So I flew out to Los Angeles and I did a pitch in front of the executives, and I got a thumbs up, and they said, you're going to pitch to the Sharks tomorrow. Go back to the hotel room.
Wow. I don't think any of us really realize how much work goes into getting on Shark Tank. I didn't realize it was that beyond. Intensive. I didn't know that they prep you that much. And
absolutely. Wow. It's not just intense like getting on, but preparing for what you're going to do, because the show is actually as real as you see. I can tell you everything about the show that's not real. And even those things I think are real. But what I mean by that is you're seeing 10 minutes but I'm really in there an hour and a half.
Right.
And you need to be really prepared to stand in front of the sharks for an hour and a half and get grilled. I mean, you need to know every one of your numbers. You need to have a business plan that's in your head. You don't get to bring notes. You better do your pitch, and you better have all your props, and you better have everything thought of before you walk in down that hallway. Because when the doors open, the sharks are there, and they're in front of you, and they never met you, and they don't know anything about you, and the show is as real as you see. So again, you're seeing the best 10 minutes of what's an hour and a half. You know, another thing that's not real are the aquariums that you see, and the sharks and the aquariums in the hallway. Those are not real. I remember walking down the hall and looking, going, no way. I always thought I was going to walk through like an aquarium, and those are just monitors.
Oh, man.
There's another thing that's not real. You know, you walk down the hall, and you stand on this X after the doors open, and what you see is the entrepreneur walks in and just, you know, launches into their pitch. That's not what happens.
Oh, okay.
You walk down the hall, and you have to freeze for about 2 to 3 minutes while they focus the cameras on you. And it's the most uncomfortable minutes of your life. You're
staring at the sharks, right?
You're staring at the sharks, and they're staring back at you, and they're not. A lot of them are not giving you nice looks. You know, Kevin.
Oh,
O'Leary,
yeah.
his arms.
They're not smiling.
Hours at you. Mark Cuban won't even look at you. It's very uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable for them too. They probably like it though. They like, you know, it's intimidation for them.
I think they use it as like, you know, let's ice the kicker. You know,
Exactly.
bring this guy in and just, you know, let's see how he can really, you know, handle stress. The other thing that's not 100% real, but I think is real, is that, you know, a deal in the Shark Tank doesn't mean a deal. It means that you have negotiated the beginning of the relationship and the premise of your terms with one of the investors. But, you know, after the show, a deal is a deal when lawyers get involved and you sign the deal on paper. And it goes both ways. So I've seen people walk in and, you know, this guy from, you know, down the boondocks, you know, makes a deal for 60% of his company. And, you know, he walked out of the Shark Tank thinking he made a great deal. His lawyer advises him that he's not an owner anymore. He's an employee of one of the sharks. And, of course, the guy freaks out, and that's the end of that deal. And you can walk away. And, you know, the same thing happens. People get really excited, and they say things like, you know, I've got 2 patents on this. And the sharks do a deal, and they're like, okay, you know, we go into a process called due diligence. And in due diligence, you know, everything you said got to be vetted. You know, if you said you had this most sales, they want to see it on paper. And if you said you had a patent, they want to see them. And when you provide them with 2 copies of your pending patents, applications that you filed with the government, that yes, they've been accepted by the government and your patent pending, you do not have a United States issued patent.
Right.
And of course, sharks will walk away from that deal because you said you had a patent, and they base their deal on that. And so I've seen, you know, almost 50% of the deals done in the tank blow up.
Yeah, I've heard that number too. 50% don't go through once the due diligence starts. So you guys did a deal. You guys did a deal with Lori. You know, it probably got tweaked during that due diligence process, like you said. Most of them probably do. Now, when you went onto Shark Tank, you were essentially a one-person company because you were outsourcing some of the manufacturing and the fabricating and whatnot. Now you're what? A company of how many people?
So now we have about 65 employees, and we have actually come to fruition on what my dream was. We have 2 buildings across the street from each other, totaling about 75,000 square feet.
Wow.
We have a really, really awesome operation going, and really take great care of the people that work for me. And I don't even say they work for me; they work with me. My team is the most amazing, hardworking, and self-starting people. And it's really a pleasure to come to work every day and work with them. And I try to do my best, you know, under my responsibility to take care of them. So we offer 100% of health coverage. I cover all of my employees 100% in a gold plan. We have a defined benefits plan. We have profit sharing, 401k. And so we really do our very, very best to retain great people. And that, I think that's one of the best ways to grow your business.
75,000 square feet. I mean, 6 years ago, if you could have imagined best case scenario, could you have imagined all of this?
You know, I get that question a lot. And the truth is, yes. Of course, I did dream that, and I did envision that. And I think that's why a lot of the things that I dream about come to reality, because I don't look at them as pipe dreams. I work towards that as a goal. And so I absolutely envisioned that at some point in time, the company would be not just as big as we are now, but significantly bigger. And I still believe that we will be significantly bigger than we are right now. And I work towards that. So when I went to Shark Tank and I was like, I think we can do this, I wasn't saying that I think it. I was like, I can make that happen. I just need a little help, and this is the assistance that I need to get. And if we do that, we will get to that level. The truth is, I didn't know it was going to happen this quickly. So
right.
it happened a lot sooner than I had anticipated. But did I think it was going to happen? Absolutely.
Yeah, very few companies go from 0 to 100 million in less than 6 years.
Yeah. We've done it in about 4.5.
Holy smokes. I'm just taking some notes here because these are some incredible numbers. Now, you guys are outside of the Philadelphia area, right? How did you pick that location for the business?
I was born and raised here. I'm a Philadelphia, I'm a Philly boy in and out. I'm a huge Philadelphia sports fan. I'm a season ticket holder to the Philadelphia Flyers. And I was born and raised in the Philadelphia area. And I have a really strong family here. So that when we have a small family party, it's 40 to 50 people, and that's a small party. And
do any of those
I've always
members...
known. Yeah, I've always known from the time I was a kid. My grandma used to always tell me, if I move out of the area, just lose her number because I'm basically cut out of the family. So I intend to stay in the Philadelphia area. I have deep roots here, and I love the location. To be honest with you, I am literally 90 minutes south from New York City, which is one of the world's financial centers and a great cultural center. I am 3 hours north of the capital of the country in Washington, D.C. I can be at the beach in an hour, and I can be in the mountains in another hour. So for me, it's a really central location in the Northeast Corridor, and there's lots of assets here for us to draw on, from engineering to manufacturing to financial. So I don't see any reason for me to move. Plus, I love 4 seasons, and that's what you get in Philadelphia. You get all 4 seasons.
Yep, same here up in Boston. You essentially do everything, right? The Scrub Daddy does all your manufacturing. You guys do the warehousing. You guys do the shipping.
No, that's actually not accurate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if I can back up a little bit, Scrub Daddy is an amazing collaboration between the company that actually makes the raw material. So the raw chemical is only made and is only available from one company in the world. There's only one company that knows how to make the formula, and we've locked down that formula, the exclusivity on it, and it's made in Germany.
Oh, wow.
And it's one of the most high-tech polymers developed today, and many people have tried to rip us off in China and Korea and just about everywhere, and they can't replicate it. And they can't because this factory has a proprietary formula for the way that they make it. And we're not telling anyone how we make it or really what it's made of. So I don't have a patent on the material, and I don't want one. Because when you get a patent on something, you need to describe everything about it, including what it's made of. And we have no interest in doing that, telling people what it's made of.
So I'm literally going through the exact same thing right now. I've spent the last 2 years creating the world's first soundproof paint, and I'm debating as to whether or not I want to get a patent on it and whether or not I want to disclose all of the ingredients that are in the formula.
Right. So it's a really simple decision. It's how difficult is it for someone to reverse engineer that?
Right. I mean, they probably could. There's probably machines out there where they could reverse engineer it. I'm assuming the big paint companies, if they really wanted to, they could probably figure it out.
Then I absolutely would patent it.
Yeah, right.
I have 15 patents, and I apply for new ones all the time.
Okay.
And I've had literally over 20 years experience in patenting, trademark, copyrights, and intellectual property. And I just got this down to a science where I can tell you right away, do I want to patent this or do I not want to patent it? And do I need a utility patent or a design patent on this? And sometimes you just want a trade secret. But in the case of, you have a specific ingredient or formulation, and that's the only way you make, this product, you patent that.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I'm definitely leaning that way, but it's a conversation I've had with my lawyer.
And that's the only way to do it. Never go to one of these invention submission companies.
No
Never.
way. No way. You're not
I
going
always
to
tell
protect
people
yourself that
patent law is as complicated as brain surgery.
way.
And you do not trust that to anybody.
Right.
Patent
a good
lawyers are specifically trained in the art of patent law. You can't even go to a regular lawyer. They have no idea what patent law is. So it's a specific discipline, and you need to find a really good patent lawyer if you have a great idea and you want to protect it.
How did you find yours?
It was actually a personal friend, friend of the family, someone I grew up with that I knew them really well, and I always knew that this person's husband was a patent attorney, and in 1994 I applied for my first patent, and that's who I went with, and he continues to be my patent lawyer today.
Cool. That's a good relationship. So you mentioned that you have a ton of family in the Philadelphia area. Have you hired any family members to work for Scrub Daddy?
Not only do I hire family members, my wife is the director of social media and PR. My brother-in-law is a senior vice president, and my best friend since the time that I was 10 years old is a senior vice president in the company. And two guys that have become two of my closest best friends who were previously employees in my other business, I've brought into this business. That's my engineer and my vice president. And I firmly believe in working with close family and friends. It's just a matter of treating them right, taking care of them, and not acting arrogant that, you're the know-it-all. In fact, what I found out that I actually do best is knowing what I don't know and hiring people that do know to bring them around me and be collaborative.
Great advice. Absolutely. So it really is. Scrub Daddy is a family business then.
It's absolutely a family business, and even the people who aren't family, because of the way I treat them, we actually all act like we're a family.
Talk to us. So few companies that I've interviewed and just in general around the country ever get to $100 million in sales. And like you said, you've done it in 4.5 years. So I know QVC's been a big part of that. I know Shark Tank's been a big part of that. Lori's probably brought a lot of relationships with retailers. But what else? There's obviously a lot of other components there that helped you get to 100 million. So, is it your salespeople? Is it social media? Is it just an incredible product that people tell their friends about? What else is driving sales so fast?
Well, I'm going to say it's all of the above, but the two major factors that were catalysts to the growth were Shark Tank and QVC.
Okay.
So the first thing is Shark Tank. You got to realize that when you air on Shark Tank, that it's not a one-time experience. Not only have we aired on Shark Tank, I've been on Shark Tank 7 times. I've done my original episode, and then they've done follow-up after follow-up after follow-up. And they even did a whole show called Beyond the Tank that I was on.
Yep, I remember that.
So I've been on all these follow-ups, and CNBC bought the rights to all the reruns. So not only did I air and repeat air on ABC every time, but then after that was done, CNBC airs me all the time. And so, I can watch my Google Analytics, and every month, every couple months, I'll see, oh my God, there's 1,000 people on my website. What's going on? Oh, we're airing on CNBC.
Yeah, no, I love that CNBC bought the rights to Shark Tank because that's pretty much all I watch. Whenever it's on is Shark Tank reruns, and then you guys are on YouTube and the CNBC app.
Exactly.
It's all over the place. So content.
The second part of that is QVC. Every time I go on QVC, I'm in front of, 1 million plus people. I don't know if you're aware, but QVC is actually the largest television network in the country. They're bigger than ABC, NBC, and CBS combined.
Wow.
Their sales
I never would have known that.
They're just one of the biggest powerhouses you could ever dream of. And, you get on air there and you do a demo in front of, millions of people. They don't all buy, but they all watch. And they watch it and they know about it. And then the next time they're at their store, and they see, in Bed Bath & Beyond or their local supermarket, they're like, hey, you know what? I actually saw the entire demo. It looked pretty cool. I didn't want to buy 8 of them, but hey, there's one on the shelf right now. And they buy it. So QVC actually drives retail sales, even if you don't sell it on that show that day. And so that kind of media has really gotten us such exposure. Are you familiar with what's called IRI data?
I don't think so. What does that stand for?
IRI data basically is a company that they track all product sales by their barcodes through stores. And then you can actually get information about every product and how it's selling, and who your competitors are. So we buy the IRI data because I want to know what my competitors are doing. I want to know,
Gotcha.
what products they have out there and how their sponge is selling compared to my sponge. Or if I want to go into a new sponge market, like a scouring sponge, I want to know, well, what's the market for scouring pads? So I'll buy the IRI data. We are now the number 3 branded sponge, recognized sponge brand in the entire United States. So that is an unbelievable number for us to be able to take when we go into a buyer meeting. So if I want to get into, let's say, Publix supermarket chain, I will go in there and say to the buyer, have you seen the latest IRI data? We're the number 3 brand sponge company in the country right now. And they go, oh, wow, we need to have that now. So that's another reason that, we are able to grow, because we are also able to track what we're doing and how we're doing in the marketplace. And then the final piece is we don't stop. If I stop with a yellow smiley face sponge, so would our sales. But we now have a regular yellow sponge, a lemon scented sponge, a product called Scrub Mommy. We have a new eraser product. We have a Sponge Daddy product, and we're launching this. We just launched our Scour Daddy sponge, and in the fall we're launching our brand new dish wand called Scrub Daisy, which is absolutely going to revolutionize the dish wand market forever. And then I've got a mop, a microfiber towel, and holders that hold your sponge at the sink, all coming out a little bit later in this year, probably next year as well.
So Danielle from your team was kind enough to send me a box of Scrub Daddies a few weeks ago, and I gave them to some friends, family members, and then of course I use it myself. And everyone has texted me and told me in person that is their favorite sponge and the only sponge they'll ever use again. So
well, that is, I love to hear that, and that's I had that confidence in the product. I wash dishes. I mean, that's the truth of it. My wife cooks and I do the dishes. And it's actually a family tradition in my family. Like my dad taught me how to do dishes. And I remember when I was 10 years old, my dad saying that in the Krause family, the women do the cooking and the men clean it up for them. And I was taught to do dishes, and I taught my son to do dishes, and my son does dishes now. So when I started using this material to wash dishes, I can tell you, in all honesty, the sky opened up, and I said, oh my God, I've never used something that rinses so clean, scrubs so well, never smells, is dishwasher safe, doesn't scratch any of my surfaces, and this is the most ergonomic shape in this smiley face, so I can put my fingers into the eye holes and get into cups and bowls and mugs and coffee pots and muffin tins, and the mouth cleanser silverware. And it turns out that the product has so many other uses that we didn't even know about. For instance, if you put it in ice cold water, it will peel potatoes and carrots and just remove the skin. And it's the greatest thing for use on your wheels in your car. Actually, it won't even scratch the paint of your car, and it cleans the leather. My wife uses it in the shower now as an exfoliator because it's the best thing to scrub your skin with. You can change the texture in the warm water, and it's just soft enough to exfoliate. And I get that email from people all the time. And now I have people using it as their toothbrush holder. They put the smiley face down, they put the toothbrushes in the eyes, and instead of having like a gross, like a white chalky toothbrush holder, the drips go into the sponge, and then you got a sponge at your sink. So I love to hear your story, and that your friends and your family are loving the product. And I knew it was going to happen, which is why we sent them to you.
you guys are taking over the world. So one of the last things I want to talk to you about is one of the things you mentioned when you were pitching on Shark Tank was your experience. So how important was that 18 years of manufacturing experience in able to build this company? I mean, could you have built Scrub Daddy into a $100 million company without that experience?
No, let's be very clear. I'm asked all the time, oh my, Aaron, you're an overnight success. And I'm like, not even close. This has been, 25 plus years of experience and learning from all my mistakes, and starting other businesses and growing them and selling them, and literally starting out scrubbing hubcaps with a toothbrush. And that's where I started. I started out washing cars, and I started out in starting my own detailing business, and I learned everything from the ground up, and I built on all of those experiences. And I am not an overnight success by any means. I am a product of grinding it out every single day, until I learned either and we failed many times. I had a lot of problems, but I never gave up, and I always used every one of the experiences to be a learning experience. And luckily, none of them put me out of business completely. And I had great support from my family, and I have great support from my wife, because I put in crazy hours right now. I work about 18 hours a day, and I travel probably 2 times, sometimes 3 times a month, and many times it's out of the country. So none of this is an overnight success, and all of it has been learning from every experience. And if I didn't have the experience prior to this of running my own business, growing a business, selling a business, there's no way I'd be in the position I'm in right now.
I'm glad I asked you that question, because that's great advice right there. I think too many people expect an overnight success, because they've seen it on, a couple of these mobile apps like the Snapchats and all that, and that's just not reality. These types of businesses take a long time to build, a lot of trial and error, a lot of mistakes, a lot of setbacks, and then, like you said, you just kept grinding through it, until you found.
To be honest with you, I enjoy that ride. I don't mind that ride. I like learning from mistakes. I like it's for me, it's a challenge, and I kind of enjoy overcoming the next challenge. And that's what business is. Every day it's a new set of challenges. It's never the same. It's only the same really when you go to work for someone else, and then you got a 9 to 5 and you can expect stability. Owning a business is constantly pivoting and putting out fires, and you either like that or you don't. And it turns out I love it.
I'm glad you do, man, and I'm glad you were a guest today on the show. Really appreciate your time. Such an amazing story. Glad we got a chance to talk about it. What's the best way for us to learn more about the company? I'm assuming the website scrubdaddy.com. Do you
Yep, we're
personally?
scrubdaddy.com, and we're all over Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, Snapchat. You can pretty much track us all the time. We're always posting out cool things on our social media. A lot of times we're doing giveaways, and you should always check our Facebook page and our website for our new product launches, including the amazing Scrub Daisy. That's really going to be the flagship of our company come October, when I do my first show. And if anyone's interested, I'm on QVC this Sunday around noon, selling our new product, Eraser Daddy.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Aaron. Best wishes moving forward, and look forward to staying in touch with you.
Thanks so much.
You got it, man. Talk to you soon. Bye.